Good morning, everyone. Now, several years ago, I had a podcast called Molly Walks, and it was where I went out and recorded our walks. And I did it in great detail, talking about what we saw, the smells, the sights, the sounds and the feels. And I did it specifically for people who either had kind of sight loss or just couldn't get out. So it was I tried to make it an immersive experience. Now, I'd like to try this again, and I'd like to try it in YouTube format. Now, it's going to be a little different because when I did it before, it was just me and Molly walking through the countryside, talking, but now I've got the visuals as well. I'm using a camera. So, what I want to do, we're going to go on a walk today. I'm going to talk about the sounds, the sights, the weather, the feel, the smells, everything to make it as immersive an experience as you can, so that I can kind of try to paint a picture so that you can sit with your eyes closed and still be able to view the beautiful country scene we have here in the north of England. So come along with us. This is our normal walk in the morning. We're going to do part of it and we're going to describe it to you. I've just walked away from the car park and we're going down a slope now, and on my left is a woodland and there's a wire fence, and on my right, trees completely covered in orange, green, yellow, brown leaves. The ground itself is covered in leaves, but they're kind of mushy and muddy here because people walk on it. But as we advance into our walk, we will see the colours come out, the browns and the greens. Again, to my left here, we've joined a wooden fence has joined us, and the land drops down to our left. I don't know where you can hear it. There's a small outlet because there's a reservoir here, and all the land around here rises up onto the Lancashire moors and the Pennines, and this water is draining off the recent rain we've had. Well, it's just in front of us. So now we're just entering an area under some trees, huge trees, 60, 70, 80 feet high, and it goes dark here. And there's lots and lots of beautiful brown leaves. There's an iron fence to our left, and that, to our right, sorry, and that was put up there in the early 1900s because all this land was owned by Lord Leverhulme, who built lots of follies on it and a castle and landscaped it. So there's a lot of very old history. And as we come up here now, the branches of the trees just stretch across over to this fence and across this fence and into this field beyond. And you can hear my feet in the leaves. And it's quiet. It's very quiet. There are no birds. There were birds this morning. I hope we get some birds. This time of year, we're not going to get many. But in spring, we'll do this again in spring. But above us you can see the trees, the leaves, green, brown, yellow. Now it's very mild this morning and it's still, it's very still. There's a very slight breeze, so the leaves are only just moving a little. But it's quiet, it's still. And it's been raining overnight. We seem to get a lot of rain overnight, but not in the day at the moment. We're having a great autumn, which means that the colours are at the best. There's a holly tree here with lots and lots of berries on. We may come and get some of those at Christmas. And through the fence there's another path. It comes up from a stream. We may walk past that stream, over that stream later on, and the path raises up and joins us. The iron fence comes to an end soon, but it is so mild and quiet, and I can smell, because it's rained overnight, I can smell that petrichor smell of rotting leaves and soil and rain, and it's so evocative. You can almost feel the humidity. It's quite humid, and you can almost feel the humidity on your fingers. I can hear Molly behind me. I don't need to turn round to hear her, and I can hear my feet going through the grass. And the reservoir is to our right. A few people coming past having an early morning run. There you go. And the reservoir is there, and it's very still. It was even still yesterday. You can tell there's a slight breeze because I can see slight ripples of the water. Molly's been down to the fence. She's coming back to join us. And this fence on her left stretches out into the distance. So we've got a fence on our left, and then a line of trees, and then a woodland going down to the reservoir. And this line of trees, you can see, is very straight because these were planted over 100 years ago in a line. These paths, very few of these paths are actually natural in landscape, but over the years, over a century, it's just turned into a natural woodland. Yesterday, there was a lot of mist. It was really humid yesterday, but today it's clear. And we can look into the distance to Rivington Pike at Local Hill. And I can feel a breeze. The breeze is coming from the west, so it's hitting me on the back of my head. I'm going to walk down now. There's a squirrel in front of us there. If Molly sees it, she'll run after it. We're walking through the leaves now, and it's just trees everywhere. And the thing is, it's quite uneven underfoot, so you have to be really, really careful, because I've taken many a tumble here. And there's a bench in front of us, and this is a bench that Molly and I sit on quite often, because Molly always insists on sitting. Can you hear my feet? Going through the leaves. Not a bird song. Not yet, but we probably will hear them. Trees there. And back down. And we come into the reservoir now, and that means, because it's a huge expanse of open water, and any breeze that comes across it picks up the coolness. So there's a cool breeze. I'm looking west. I'm looking west now, so there's a breeze coming from the west, and it's cool. And you can see, if you can just about see the leaves, the yellow and brown leaves moving. And there's another little drain here, you can hear. Draining of the hills. And there are lots of squirrels. You won't be able to see them probably. I'll try and zoom in if I can when we edit this. but the ground is completely covered. The breeze is to my back now and the ground is covered in brown leaves. And it's quiet. I can hear birds in the distance to my left. And the breeze is picking up because we're next to the reservoir. There's a squirrel at the bottom of these trees. He's not bothered about us. He's just going about his business. And we're going to leave the path in a minute and go to a little spot that Molly and I go to. I did a video a couple of months ago sitting by a stream, and that stream is in here. And it was different then because it was summer and the leaves were all green and plump and the ground was just bare and dry. But now, only a couple of months later, the leaves have down, the leaves have fallen, the ground is damp. And we're into this, away from the public now, into our own little private spot. There's ivy growing up the trees. This is quite dense woodland here. Woodland and a lot of holly. And then down by the river, down by the reservoir to my right, you get this scrubby growth, these like low saplings and self-seeded bits of twiggy nonsense. And there's a low stone wall, an old stone wall covered in moss. And like I say, it smells, and the smell doesn't go away. The smell is there all the time. I went online and you can get candles that smell of petrichor, but I read the reviews and it said they were rubbish, so I didn't bother. I can hear a dog happily barking away to our left, because that's where the main path is. And that's where people will be this morning, walking the dogs. There's pigeons in the trees in front of me. And the light, it's opening up now. We're coming out of the trees because we're actually coming closer to the reservoir. And the trees are to my left, and it's an open area to the right. So it's light's opening up. You can probably feel it. You can see it. It's gone light. It's lighter. The leaves on the ground seem more golden and brown as the sunlight gets to them. And we have to push our way through a little bit of a few branches, and they're quite wet. And they actually feel dead. In summer, they feel plump. But in winter, in autumn, as they dry out, they look nice. They're damp and they glisten. But they do feel like it's the end of their time. Trees all around us. And the water at the side of us here, it's quite green. There's a lot of blue-green algae. There always is in this reservoir, and I don't know what causes it. I think it's just kind of a combination when the conditions, right, temperature, humidity. I think when all that comes together, and it's you shouldn't let your dogs in. It's not pleasant. Like I said, the ground drops away to our right, down to the reservoir. And it goes up and it rises up to our left, and there's bracken. All the bracken is brown. It was only a few weeks ago I was saying, oh look, the bracken's beginning to turn a little bit, and within 3 weeks. And I said then, within a couple of weeks it'll be gone, and it has. It's gone for another year. We're looking up and it's still here, but when I look up at the branches, I can see the leaves blowing. I think we are sheltered. We're in a bit of a hollow, so there's no breeze here. I can hear some birds. We'll just walk in silence for a bit, just see if we can hear the birds. Ooh, it's very muddy. I can hear the odd bird. I can hear the stream now. We're getting close to the stream that we sit beside, and we'll have a walk down to it. The ground rises quite steeply to my right now, and there's a path. It's not that far away, it's only about 60, 70 feet away. I can hear the stream. It'll get louder as we walk towards it. There's just a little bird every now and again. Can you hear it? And like I say, we will come here again in spring when there'll be a complete cacophony. Molly's just run off. You can hear her going through the leaves. She's seen something. She loves it here, and even for her age, 14 years old, she still loves running about here, and it's nice and soft, so it's easy on her paws. We're heading towards the stream now. It's getting louder. And this is another runoff from the moors. Tree there, covered in moss. The stream goes off to the reservoir, which isn't far down there. I can actually hear the sound of it in the tunnel. There's like a culvert here that's probably about 60 or 70 feet, because it goes to the other side of the path to my left, and I can hear water like thundering inside it. Lots of holly bushes to my left. And the ground rises up all around us here. We're kind of at the bottom. It rises up here, and we're going to make our way up this slope in front of us. And when we've gone up here, we will come to a wide open area, and it's beautiful because it is just completely covered in brown leaves. It's very wet underfoot here, very, very wet. It's like a stream. It's a good job I've got a good pair of walking shoes on. We'll make our way up here. We could go straight on, but this way we follow the stream. You can hear it to my right now. And the smell has just hit me. The smell is really strong here because we're in an area, it's damp, it's mud, it's deep. Molly's seeing something else again. She's gone scooting off into the distance. And the smell try to imagine it. It's like earthy and the smell of rot, but also kind of a slightly acidic smell and a slightly sweet smell, all mixed together. I went online and there's actually, they tell you how you can make it using chemicals, but obviously I'm not a chemist. Molly's just been down to the side of the reservoir and now she's come back up to join us. And it's a slight incline down to my right. So I'm walking on a slope, and because it's the leaves and it's kind of quite slippy, I have to be very, very careful. Molly's just standing looking up at a tree in front of us. Aren't you, Moll? I think she's seen the squirrel. Let's go up here, Molly. We're going to make our way up the slope. There's lots and lots of trees, roots across us, and lots of growth that we have to push through, and it's damp and you can feel it against your face. And listen, we can hear the crows now. Oh, they've gone quiet. You can hear them. The archetypal sound of the English countryside. There I can see it flying over the trees, two of them. The sound of crows and the sound of distant church bells on a Sunday morning as you look over rolling green countryside. And there's a real breeze now. You may be able to see it. And all these leaves on these small shrubs blowing about. Not enough to move the leaves on the ground, but it really, I can feel it now in my face, and it's really pleasant because it's not cold, it's cool. It's just really one of these days where you could just put a sweater on and walk all day and be comfortable and take a flask and some sandwiches and go and sit somewhere and gaze at nothing. Look at this carpet of brown leaves, it's beautiful. This is one of the best autumns I've experienced for a long time. It's perfect. The weather has been kind to us. It's prolonged. The leaves, we haven't had these high winds come to sweep everything away. And we see the leaves on the ground here. And over the winter, the winds will come, the rains will come, and they will rot down and they will blow away, and they'll be almost gone when spring comes round, 2025. And I can hear a road in the distance, and that is the M61, and it is probably about at least 2 miles away over in the direction we're looking now. But we can hear it, which is annoying. So we will move away from it. It's quite early and there aren't many people about. We've seen a couple of people, probably pre-work people. The schools run half term, so later on all the grandparents will be out with the kids because it's a very popular place to be, and rightly so. But we like our solitude here, and when the kids are back at school and we come out early enough, we have the place to ourselves. We just meet up with the odd dog walker, like Archie, the white dog. See him most days. And everybody knows Molly, and everybody gives Molly biscuits, and Molly recognises everybody and runs up to them. Again, it's gone quiet, no birds. Get the odd crow every now and again in the far distance. But we're walking through these trees again, and I love this. Can you hear the crow? I love this deciduous woodland. Because the trees are not that dense. They're quite, you know, they're 6 or 7 feet apart, which I suppose is quite close. But they go up and there is space and there's light coming through. But then they just form this huge canopy of orange and green. And as I look up, I can see the leaves moving about in the breeze. And the breeze is to my back again, coming from the west. And it's lovely, it's cool, I can feel it against the back of my baldy head. And a squirrel's just run across in front of us again. Feel, can you hear them? The rustle of dry leaves. And these are dry here. They must be protected from the rain with the canopy of leaves above us. To my left, we come out of the woodland and there's a bench. You might not maybe be able to make it out through the trees, but there's a bench up there. People sit on. There's 2 benches, one to my left and this one in front of us. And beyond that, it's the open field we will see in a bit. Somebody being noisy. And there's just an open field all the way to Rivington Pike and Winter Hill in the distance. 2 hills that start the beginning of the Lancashire moors that climbs up towards the Pennines, and then you get the Pennines all the way to Yorkshire, just dotted with the odd little village. The towns of East Lancashire, Oldham, Rochdale, and then nothing. Go across Saddleworth Moor, where Ian Brady and Myra Hindley buried the victims. And then he dropped down towards Bradford and Leeds. Coming down towards a path that runs along the side of the reservoir now. Molly is having a great time. She seems to be quite full of herself this morning. She loves this temperature. She loves the cool. She doesn't like it warm. So this is great for Molly. So we have reservoir to our right and woodland to our left. Esther. There you go, I told you how everybody makes a fuss of Molly.
I've not seen you for a little bit. I like your poppy.
Yes.
Mine's gonna get
We thought we'd lost it and then we found it.
Oh right. We get the felt ones like each year, but they get so grubby.
We've had that for years and I couldn't find it. And I found it when I wasn't looking for it. We've come out of the woods now. The woods are to our left. The reservoir is down there. It's a fairly wide path here, probably 8-10 feet wide. And to our right, an open field leading to what is actually a path, another path, because over in that direction is a castle, a folly called Liverpool Castle. And I've actually done drone flights over it. I think they're still on my channel, the earlier videos. And there's paths radiate out in a straight line. And that's one of them. And that leads 2 lines of trees, like an avenue of trees. And again you can hear my feet on the ground. The leaves here. You may be able to just hear the wind going through them. There's quite a breeze now, and I can actually hear it, but whether the microphone picks it up or not, I don't know. Still crows in the distance. There's one flying over us now. And the breeze has picked up. It's cool on my hands. It's just such a pleasant temperature to be out and about. And you're continuously walking from light into shade. To walk underneath these low branches. Can you see that? There's a squirrel on the path eating a nut right in front of us. I will try and zoom in. How long will he stay there? Is he going to scoot off in a minute? He's there, can you see him? You see Mr. Squirrel? He's not bothered. You're too friendly. Not everybody's nice, you know. There you go. Go up your tree. There's a magpie in the path right in front of us, grubbing about in the leaves. There it goes. I can see crows in the field to our left. Right, I keep getting left and right mixed up. And the perspective on the camera makes the trees look farther away. They're not that far away. They're going away. They go from they joined the path that we were on, and now they're radiating out to our right. But they look further away on the camera. But they're a beautiful colour. And beyond, the ground rises up into what's the Chinese gardens on Rivington, Lord Leverhue's Rivington. And yet again, I've done a video about Lord Leverhue's Rivington. It tells you all about the gardens and the follies. And it's beautiful. And I think I filmed that early in the year, a few years ago. And they're brown and green, slightly misty distance. Still clear. No mist today, but just the air is just slightly misty. You can hear my feet, and then you can hear Molly's feet. I'm going crunch, crunch, and she's going crunch, 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 crunch. Look at the colour of the trees there. Beautiful browns and yellows. You need to see if you can hear the crows. Skirting a woodland to our left now. This is the woodland we walked into. When I said the bank goes up and there's a path, we're on that path now, walking right alongside of where that little stream was and that little culvert. It's just to our left, about 60 or 70 feet. And we walk under trees. And it's the light and dark all the time, the difference. And the feeling the crows are really noisy now. I'm afraid that's the only birds you're going to get today, people. And there's been rain overnight, so the grass is wet. It's got beads of water all over it. I can see a jay in the distance. Right in the distance, but you can always tell a jay with its caramel and blue colour. And the grass has got beads of moisture all over it, glistening. And the sky is like, you can hardly make out a cloud in the sky, just a little bit. It's almost like somebody's thrown a grey blanket over the world. and you can just see slight changes. It seems to be lightening up a little bit. Now we've got a little bit of bird song to our left. I'll shut up while we listen to that. Slow downward gradient now towards the reservoir again. It's gone really cool now. And like I say, it's not unpleasant, it's still pleasant. But the wind's got up and it's cool. There's a wooden fence to our left. Mr. Crow protesting in the tree above us. So the wind's got up and all the leaves are really blowing now. The branches are moving. We didn't have that before. They were completely stationary. But now they're moving. And again, we're heading in a westerly direction, so this breeze is completely in my face. And it's really quite pleasant. Really makes you realise you're alive. The breeze, and you can really hear the leaves now. I don't know whether you can pick that up, I hope you can. Right, we're going to walk over a little bridge I talked about at the beginning of the video. The water underneath it doesn't appear to be a lot. It's usually a bit of a torrent with a beautiful sound as you walk over it. But we're going to walk over that, and then Molly and I are going to carry on. If you like this video, could you please press the like button? Because YouTube has been messing about with the algorithms, and I'm not the only one. A lot of other creators are saying that the views are dropping off a cliff. YouTube do this occasionally, and it means that if you don't get the likes and stuff like that, your videos just don't get put out to people. So if you could press the like, I would really appreciate it. Thank you. So we're going to go over the bridge, and then Molly and I are going to carry on. Somebody coming over the bridge now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Morning.
Hi. Hello. Yeah.
And the smell here now is almost overpowering. Rising up from the stream. It's beautiful. It's just nature. It smells fabulous. Oh, it really is. I just wish I could bottle it and send it to you. It's all part of the experience. It is so strong. And we're going to walk up this path now and carry on with our walk. So we shall see you on the flip. Peace and love.